Here's the last lesson. Be encouraging. Be encouraging. The lukewarm, in particular, frequently need boosting up. As soon as Jesus rose from the dead, the Lord began to single Simon Peter out for encouragement. Remember their last interaction around that fire. When he heard the denial, when he turned and made eye contact. As soon as Jesus rose from the dead, the Lord singled out Simon Peter for encouragement. Mark 16, verse 7 relates that when the women discovered the empty tomb, the angel said to them, do you remember the words? The angel said to them, "You're looking for Jesus. He's not here." It's great news. He's not here. He is risen. Go tell his disciples and Peter that he's going ahead of you into Galilee, and there you will see him just as he told you. Peter must have felt unworthy after the denial, and he had to ask the women, did the angel really say, tell Peter specifically? It would be a boost to his ego. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 5 says that Jesus made a special appearance to Simon Peter that would go a long way towards assuring him that he was forgiven and that he was reinstated. John 21 relates that shortly after, the disciples went to the Sea of Galilee and they waited for Jesus and they became restless. And what do the disciples do when they become restless? They got in a boat and they went fishing. They went fishing, and they fished all night and didn't catch anything. And at dawn, there was this lone figure, a stranger silhouetted against the shore. And the stranger on shore called out, "Have you caught anything? Have you caught any fish?" Now, when you're fishing all night or you've been fishing all day and some stranger walks by and says, "Hey, have you caught anything?" If you are a fisherman, you know that it's not a question you really feel like answering if you've been fishing all day and haven't caught anything. But he says, "Have you caught anything?" And I love Peter's answer. "No, we haven't caught anything." And the stranger said, "Well, throw your net on the other side." And they complied, and they caught 153 fish in one catch. They couldn't believe it. And Simon Peter said, "That's got to be him. That's got to be Jesus. Only Jesus could perform a miracle like that." And in Simon Peter, in all of his stumblings and all of his failures in the last few days and all of his mistakes that he's made in his life, he dove right into the water and swam ashore. He left the others in the rowboat to row the boat back to the shore and drag in the fish. And when they got to the shore, there was Jesus cooking breakfast for them. Max Lucado reminds us that there are two fires in the story. There are two fires in Peter's story. The first fire was built by men. The second fire was built by Christ. At the first fire, Peter denied Jesus. At the second fire, Peter confesses Jesus. In the middle of the conversation around the fire, Jesus turned to Simon and questioned his loyalty. Just as Simon Peter had denied him 3 times, Jesus will give him the opportunity to proclaim his allegiance 3 times, to confess who Jesus is 3 times. And in John 21, verse 15, it says, when they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than these?" Remember, Peter had said, "Everybody else, Lord, might deny you, but not me. I'm not going to deny you." And Jesus says to him, "Do you still love me more than the other disciples?" Jesus used the word agape, which means a love deeply committed that will do the right thing regardless of how we feel. And Peter answers with the word phileo, "Lord, I love you like a brother." Jesus asked a second time, "No, Simon, do you agape? Do you love me?" And Peter answers again using the word phileo, "I love you like a brother." And a third time, Jesus asked him, and Jesus uses the word phileo. "Do you love me like a brother?" And Peter says, "Lord, you know all things. You know the kind of love that I have for you." Some have criticized Simon Peter for not using a stronger word. But I think now he's honestly admitting that at times things can be a little shaky. At times, he's not always the rock that he should be. I can't always promise you, God, that I'm going to do the right thing. I know that I'll stumble and I know that I'll fall, but I still love you. I think the Lord was pleased that Peter was honestly admitting his weakness. Jesus said, okay, Simon, you're ready. Feed my sheep. Feed my lambs. I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom. You can open the door and start preaching the gospel in the church. I believe you. See, Jesus spotted something in Peter's heart that was right. He spotted something in Peter's heart that was right, and Peter wasn't perfect, but he loved the Lord. And Peter became a solid citizen, I think, don't you? A solid citizen in the kingdom of God and a dependable witness for Christ. And it's a tremendous encouragement to know that someone like Peter, that the Lord would believe in someone like Peter. If he believed in Peter, he believes in you. If he believed in Saul of Tarsus, he believes in you. And it's amazing what a little bit of encouragement can mean to someone. It can blow their minds. It's true spirituality. Someone close to you has done damage. Maybe someone has hurt some people. Maybe someone has broken some homes. Maybe someone has wasted some money. Maybe someone blew a witness. Maybe instead of a condemning finger or an angry expression, they could use some genuine encouragement from a loving Christian and honest support. I want to close as the worship team comes back out. I want to close with a few words about that kind of encouragement. I want you to remember that encouragement should be balanced and not one-sided. We're to rebuke and encourage. Encouragement should be occasional, not constant. Can you imagine somebody sees you every day and every day they're like, man, you look nice. Man, I love what you're doing. You look great. Eventually you would start to scratch your head and be like, I don't know if they mean that or not. Encouragement should be specific and not general. Encouragement should be based on concern for the person and not selfish manipulation. Proverbs 29 verse 5 says, whoever flatters his neighbor is spreading a net for his own feet. In the course of time, people can tell if you're encouraging them so they'll like you or you're encouraging them to manipulate them. The key to fishing for the lukewarm is to convey that I genuinely care for you. And I want you to be right with the Lord. And encouragement should be honest and not deceptive.